Welcome to Fails on the Trails. On this podcast, runners share their stories behind their DNF, did not finish, or DFL, dead freaking last, experiences. Our goal? To help you learn from what went wrong in a previous race so that everything can go right in your next race. I'm Justin Smith, proud owner of 13 DNFs, and I'm joined by
Lisa Decker, and I have 17 DNFs.
And I'm Nicole, and I have 5 DNFs.
And together we are your DNFsperts. So lace up your running shoes and come along for the ride as we unpack the stories, mistakes, and lessons learned from the fails on the trails.
Okay, everybody, welcome Megan. So Megan lives in the greater St. Louis area, and she has 1 DNF and 1 DFL. And she, outside of running, likes to garden and tend to her chickens. And so welcome, Megan.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Okay, I just have a question. How many chickens do you have?
Oh, probably a little over 10, the exact number. I don't know if I can quite say.
Okay.
We live in a very rural area. We have a lot of hawks. So every once in a while, we're like, oh, we haven't seen that one in a while.
Well,
10-ish.
Do they all have fun names?
Yes, for the most part. Our son mostly names them all. Some of them are literally just named food, and we have quite a few that have fun names.
Okay, I know that's not running related, but I love chickens.
One of our main roosters, his name is Inferno. He comes from a line of another rooster that have similar names. He was Fireball, so his son is now Inferno. So we'll have to keep that living on.
Ooh. I love that.
That is fun. Do you have any other animals?
No, not right now. I'd love to get goats at some point, possibly a cow. Looking into getting a new puppy this spring. We lost our dog of 16 years last year. So hopefully we'll get a new one soon.
I've always wanted alpacas.
Oh, man, don't get me started. I would love an alpaca. There's actually one of the trails that I like to run on. It's called Rockford's Reservation, which is in the St. Louis area. At the bottom of that trail, there's like a small alpaca farm. Like I think it's alpacas and llamas. So it's always fun when you run that trail because then you just walk along their fence and they'll come up and say hi.
Oh, that's fun. I have a question for you guys. Has anybody ever been stalked or attacked on a trail by an animal?
Ooh.
I got stung by a bee. Does that count?
I've been stung by some ground hornets. I've seen someone almost get plowed by a deer.
I have 2. Yes.
Wow.
I've had a few encounters with dogs following me and just having to turn around and yell at them. Something I learned is you actually yell at them like, get off the couch, because that's something that they get yelled at a bunch. And they get up or yell at them to go home. And then I did a race one time where I had a dog run with me for about, I don't know how many miles, and had to have a friend like bring him back home because I was about to cross a highway and I didn't want to be responsible for that because it was cool. I had my own pacer for like 7 miles, but then it was 7 miles away from
That would make my race. I would be thrilled to have that.
Yeah, for sure.
I just heard of there was a race here called Sam's Last Stand. It was kind of a fat ass 96-mile race on the Lone Star Hiking Trail, and a dog ran for 40 miles with these runners. It belonged to somebody. They got it back to the owner, but this dog ran for 40 miles.
Crazy.
And I was like, somebody has a new pet. If it didn't belong to anybody, like somebody has to adopt it, but the dog did belong to somebody.
Wow, you just felt like going for a run, I guess.
Yeah, you know.
So, Megan, do you have any favorite trail races?
I would have to say probably one of my favorite ones is pretty close to here. It's called Shawnee Hills. It was actually like my first ultra marathon. I did the 50K. They also just started having a half marathon, 100K and 100 miles. It's actually a pretty tough race. It's in the summer in the St. Louis area in August, so it's super hot. It's actually a fairly difficult trail, but the views are gorgeous. There's waterfalls. Like there's times where you're just running through boulder, kind of scrambling. That'd probably be my favorite. I've done that race 5 times, I think.
What's the loop size on it? How big of a loop is it?
32 miles. It's kind of a figure 8. It's actually almost like 2 small loops connected by one section that you do kind of out and back. Almost looks like a little snowman. One thing that's really cool about this race too is it starts at a camp. So the accommodations are included with your entry, and they're in these tree houses that are up on like stilts because it floods in the area. It's pretty darn cool.
That sounds fun.
I will have to get the name of that and maybe go do it sometime
Yes.
just so I could camp in a treehouse.
Yeah, and Nicole, you actually ran fairly close to that area when you did Tunnel Hill. So that's like
Okay.
one of the same exits you get off to go to Tunnel Hill. You would go right. Well, depends, I guess, which way you're going. And this race would be the opposite direction on the same exit.
Okay. Huh. Yeah, that's a pretty area.
It's a very pretty area.
So living out in the country, do you do country road runs or do you get to the trails? How do you do your training?
Yeah, so I do a combination of a bunch of things. I hate to say it sometimes, but I will say the majority of my miles lately have been on the treadmill. I have a treadmill in our pole barn, not heated or cooled. So even when it's freezing or super hot, it's can be kind of miserable, but I'm someone who can hop on it and just like zone out and go. And then I do run on the roads, but the roads that I live on like don't have lines, anything like that, and people just drive crazy, so it's not really the most safe. I have a couple smaller trails within 15 and 20 minutes, so when I'm able to get out there, I try to as much as possible.
What's your distance of choice? Are you 50K or 50 miler? Where do you look for when you look for
I would
races?
say probably my favorite distance and one of the ones that I've run the least would be the 100K.
Okay.
I don't know why. I like
Yes.
that distance. 100 miles, I think, take a lot to run for. I really like doing them. Don't get me wrong. They're fun. I feel like 100K, I don't know. It's almost not much more than training for 50K, I would say.
Double the
Right,
distance.
double, but like,
You can usually be done with 100K without like going
right,
all night long. So,
exactly,
and
Yeah.
seeing another sunrise.
exactly.
Do you know how many ultras you've done or how many hundreds you've done?
Hundreds, I've only completed 3, and ultras, 20-ish, all varying
That's good.
distances.
Okay, she's got some experience under the belt.
I
Think
like that.
so.
I love how you said only 3 too, like only 3 100 milers, the distance that nobody even knows exists.
Right. Well, I feel like getting on especially a podcast like this, like it's people who have done those distances and have like, I mean, I see the belt buckles behind you. Looks like there's probably more than 3 there.
A little bit, but we suck at it, so that's the fun part of our podcast.
Yes. Yes.
You're not with, like, the fast people that are taking first, you're with the people that are, like, slogging it and just hating life and then finishing it and never wanting to do it again until they sign up for the next one.
I don't know.
Or we sign up for 5 at once and we hope that we finish one.
That's how I got into it. I was like, I'm going to do it to say that I've done it before. And then before I even ran my first ultra, I signed up for 2 other ones. Like this training is just fun. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, just get them all lined up. That way, if whatever happens, you have another one to look forward to in a couple of weeks or a couple of months, and you don't have to sit and wait, be like, I'm never doing that again. But oh,
Right.
darn, I've already signed up for it. So I guess I do.
And really, like you have to do the 50K to train for the 50 mile, and you have to run the 50 mile to train for the 100 miles. So
That's
just
how I
it
do
just
it.
starts
Or you
adding
just
up.
skip that and go straight to 100.
Yeah, I have not done that, I will say.
Before we dive into this DFL or DNF, I'm curious, what was your first 100?
My first 100 was Tunnel Hill, actually.
That's a good one.
Yes.
Mhm. I know. Which year did you do it?
I want to say 2017,
That was a few years before I made it there. I
somewhere
was just
around
there
there.
in 2024 and 2025, I
Yeah,
think.
I did the 50 miler there in 21, but I want to come back and do
Okay.
the 100 miler for sure. So it's a beautiful, beautiful course, beautiful
So
area.
I know Nicole likes the flat ones. Do you guys
I
like the
do.
flat courses too?
I go back and forth. I like the flat just because I mean nothing's guaranteed, but I feel like okay, I
Right.
could get this done. But I enjoy the ups and downs, the
Same.
technical, the rocks, the kind of scrambling. You kind of get more of a adventure or a sense of accomplishment when you finish those races. Like I finished 100K that had a 25-hour cutoff. I was DFL and I finished in like 24 hours because it was that tough. And I was just like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have fun out here. I know I'll finish, but it was like 8,000 feet of gain and 100K. So for me, that's a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I have the YouTube channel, so I like the more pretty, rocky, technical water crossing stuff that makes for better footage than when I do a video
Right.
on a rail trail and I'm like, here's this rail trail that it looks the same, but it's different because we're 30 miles down the railroad, but it's
Right.
still a rail trail.
So Shawnee Hills would be a good one for you.
So I'm writing it down. You can't. I mean, if you say 100 mile, I'm like, okay, let's see if it works in the schedule.
Fails on the trails road trip. Let's
Yeah.
go.
August, well, it's too hot.
I love
It
it.
is a hot race.
Oh, yeah, that's perfect. That's
Sure.
right up Justin's alley right there. Hot races.
Yes. So whenever you heard about this podcast, DNF or DFL, I'm sure a race came to mind. So what race are we going to be talking about today?
We are going to talk about a 100-miler called the Hitchcock Experience,
Okay, where's
which is
that
a
at? Isn't
DNF.
that like Midwest?
So it is in Honey Creek, Iowa, like right across the border from Omaha, Nebraska.
And is that like a dirt road race or is that trail?
Ooh, it is trail, and you would be surprised. It's in Iowa, but it's in, I think they say at the lowest hills. This race has like 20,000 feet of elevation gain, which
Ooh,
for Iowa you would
interesting.
not expect.
Or when is that one?
December.
December. So is it like super cold then as well?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I have a little bit of a history with this race in my how long I had been trying to complete it.
Now, going into this race, did you see photos of it? Did you have a friend that did it? What put it on your radar?
You know, I'm not even sure how it got on my radar. I've never known anyone else who's done it. I had seen pictures of it, and like the course itself is really pretty. For me, for St. Louis, like I drive across Missouri and then go up to Nebraska, and my parents are in Kansas City. So, like, that stop spot there too is just helpful to stop along the way, have a place to stay. And same with coming back as well. I don't know. It just ended up working out and decided that was a goal race.
Did you know going into it that there was 20K of vert or what that would even feel like?
I knew that it had that. I had never done anything that hilly. I think the closest I had is running Mohican, which is in Ohio, and that I want to say was 12 to 16,000. I can't quite remember. So definitely the hilliest race I had ever done.
Mohican's pretty solid too. That's
I love that
so I'm
race.
just thinking, yeah. It's not like you just went Tunnel Hill straight to
Right.
Hitchcock.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Then leading up to it, what was the training like? Did you have to do because you know if you're going on a treadmill in a barn, you probably didn't have a lot of hill training.
Yeah. So I'm going to step back a little bit and talk about my experience this way. So I was actually supposed to run it the year before. I had really good training. Part of my training was actually pacing a friend at Pinhoti in Alabama as well. So I got a lot of great runs in, felt amazing. My husband ended up having a major injury and I ended up not being able to race because I had to stay home. So coming into the next year, I had already signed up for Mohican as well. So coming off training for that, I think I was just a little run down. So my training up to this race next time was probably not the best it could be. I mean, I got some good, decent long runs in. I think maybe I maxed out at like a 40-mile, but probably not as solid as I typically have. Like I'm a very structured, scheduled training, and it just did not go to my normal structure and schedule. At that point, though, I was running a lot of trails. I wasn't running as much on the treadmill in my garage. I was getting out quite a bit.
But if you're having back-to-back races, it's better to be fully recovered than it is to be
Mhm.
more fit. Okay, so you missed out on the year before, and then you're going to the start line this year. Did you have a hotel or did you camp out? What was it like the
Yeah.
day before?
I ended up having a hotel in Omaha, which is, I think it takes about 20 minutes to get to the race.
There's a lot of DNF stories that start off with, "Well, I just wanted to sleep in the back of my car. That
Which
way, I'm
I've
right
done
by the
that a
start
lot
line."
actually at races.
It's hit or miss because some
Yeah.
days you wake up and you can't even put your shoes on because your back is so tight. Well,
Hmm.
I'm 37, so it might be different.
I got a few years on you.
So take us to the starting line. How did everything go at the beginning? Was the weather good, and what was the vibes like?
Yeah. So I think everything could go wrong leading up to that race. Like my son was sick, which wasn't great. We still ended up coming up because my mom was able to watch him. The high of the day was 15. So yes.
Oh. And was
So,
it like a wind chill also that made it colder?
yes,
So now that's
because it
usually a
is so hilly
factor.
there, and other than this kind of small area, everything else is flat. The wind is just insane.
Oh.
So that all paired together, it was already just in me already not quite being in the same headspace. Like just starting was it was difficult. Of course, like with it being that cold, it's so hard to hydrate. Everything is freezing. I'm someone who likes to carry a lot of my nutrition and my water. I don't fill up at aid stations a lot if I don't have to. And that's just not something you could do. At one point, I ended up just taking all the bottles out of my pack, even though they were like wrapped. I even had like hand warmers on there. I had to stick them in my pants and do anything I could just to be able to actually like drink during this whole thing. So
Oh.
just from the beginning, it was already just not a great situation. I'm usually pretty strong mentally, and I'm like, this just sucks.
It looked like at Hitchcock. Was that an out and back or was it point to
No,
point?
so it is 8 12.5 mile loops. And then once you get to the main aid station at the 12.5 mile, it's a lodge. So you also go inside. So that makes it
Ooh.
very hard as well because you go in from 15 degrees into 70 degrees and have to get yourself back out.
Yeah, I don't think I would get back out.
It was definitely difficult.
How dare people in Iowa run a race in December? That's rude.
Right?
I was interested until I heard the month December. I'm a hot weather guy. I love the hot run. So any like the cold Arrowhead and all that stuff where you're pulling a sled, I'm good on that. But yeah, 100 miler in Iowa in December. That's insane. So first loop, I'm guessing like everyone out there, was anyone having fun or was it just everyone just like locked in trying to stay warm?
Man, from what I remember, it seemed like everyone just locked in trying to stay warm. There's like a few people who, like, I mean, you can look at the ultra sign up. If you've gone to that race more than once, you know who these people are. Like, they're the people who win every year and who've run it a lot of times. I'm sure they were still having fun. I think us toward the middle back of the pack, maybe not so much.
Was it a big turnout or did a lot of people not show up for that day?
So, oh, that's a great question. I'd almost have to go back and look and see how many did not starts there were. It's a small race to begin with.
Okay.
It's really kind of hard. It's not like one of these that have like 200 people starting. I think between all the races that they have for the weekend, they can only have like 200 or 250 people on the trail. And that's between a 50 mile, the 100 mile, half marathon, and then they have something called 101K the hard way, where you do the half marathon and then come back and do the night 50 mile. So between all those
Oh.
races, they can only have like 250 people or 150. I don't remember. Something pretty small.
So do you remember like finishing your first loop? Did you go inside of the lodge?
Oh, I went inside every loop because it is so cold too. And I'm usually a hot runner. Like, so even when it's
Mhm.
freezing out, I sweat my butt off. So I brought enough clothes because I was like, after every one of these loops, I'm going to have to change because I'm going to start to get sweaty. Like that temperature, it's really hard to like regulate what you're wearing, especially with the wind. So I did. I went inside every loop that I finished.
You got to hit us with the aid station
Oh,
food.
yes.
We love our
Yeah.
food. So do you remember what they were serving up in this lodge?
Yes. I actually, so the lodge was one aid station, and then they have one, trying to remember the name of it, that was about 6 miles or so that they enclosed. I want to talk about that one because the person there was an actual chef and made some of the best soups I've ever had at an aid station. So I remember him feeding me their potato soup, and it was just to die for. I would say in the lodge, I think the thing that saved me in a couple of races, or a couple loops, were mashed potatoes and chicken broth just mixed together in a slurry.
That's always magical.
Yes, it really
Yes.
is.
It may surprise you, but if you put bacon in it, it makes it a little better too.
Ooh, that does sound
Yeah, or
like it would
put
be
a
good.
a quesadilla garnish on the side as well, and a little bit of
Yes.
ramen noodles,
Yep.
and some cheese.
Use
You're
the
talking my
quesadilla to
Brilliant.
language.
scoop it.
That's my type
The
of food
whole
at aid stations.
absolutely.
So how far until doubt started creeping in? Because we know you went in the lodge a few times.
Yeah.
Did it start to get dark? Is that when it kind of got a little harder for you?
Yeah, probably even a little bit before then. I would say around like the 30-mile mark, I was like, wow, this is really like not going well at all. And yeah, when it started to get dark, that first time, I was like, nope. I feel like I'm going to be chasing cutoffs. I just feel awful.
Mhm.
I started getting like really bad knee pain. And I think right around like 62 miles, that the end of that loop, I just went into the lodge and I just started crying. I was like, I'm done. Like, I can't do this. There's actually a physical therapist that was in there that came up and tried to make me feel better. And she looked at my knee. She's like, yeah, it's probably just overuse. Like, you're not going to hurt it more if you keep going. Like, she was really trying to get me to keep going. I was like,
Mhm.
no.
So what was the overall cutoff for the 100 miler?
30.
34 hours. So you were already at like 30, kind of concerned
No,
about.
I wasn't even that far.
Oh,
So at 62 miles, I
mhm.
was probably at like 18 ish. But like
Okay.
just how slow each of those next loops were going, I was like, There's no way."
Did you have a suffer buddy going at your pace, or were you just kind of out there by yourself and your
I was
feelers?
completely by myself. I didn't even have pacers come.
I think that could be what probably led to that, because
Yeah.
typically, if you have a suffer buddy out there with you, and that's pretty much how we all met, is just
Yeah.
being suffer buddies.
I love it.
It sucks, but at least you're not alone.
Yes.
And then you don't want to quit because you don't want your new best friend to be
Right.
alone.
Yeah, and I think too, one of the things that really got me that last loop also is how I mentioned that there's a night 50 mile. So you had all these 50 miles starting and they're just like blowing past you. And like them with their pacers like blowing past. And it's like, this is just so demoralizing. It's like I can't do it.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like that can be like good or bad when a new race starts when you're like
Right.
in zombie mode, because either the new energy is going to help you get new energy, or you're just going to want to trip them all because they have these fresh legs and you feel like crap, and
I was
it just puts you
definitely
in a bad
closer to
mood.
the
So it's
latter.
kind of, yeah.
Was it starting
Well,
to get icy because of the cold weather as well?
I do not remember it being super icy there that time. I think it was like
ooh.
one of the few years that there's no snow at that race.
You said that
Oh,
time. I think that's still about to be a segue. But before we get there, whenever you DNF and then the sun comes up the next morning, is it instant regret because you feel good and you could keep going? Or were you pretty much like, I made the right choice?
It's sad. I definitely like had a little pity party for myself and I was really disappointed because I had never DNF'd a race before. It sucked. But honestly, I think I made the right decision. It was just going to be I was not going to enjoy it. And I run because I like to be happy and I'm happy running. And I was not happy running at that time. And I don't think it would have changed at any point. So it was probably for the best.
so was it the 60 to the 100K mark that you stopped, or did you go out for a little more after that?
Nope, I stopped there. Yeah, I brought my bib to the race director and he is such a nice guy. He was like trying to convince me, he's like, just take a nap, wait till the sun comes up. And I was like, there's no way when the sun comes up, I'm going to make this time. And he really tried. I have an unofficial 50-mile finish.
But by the sounds
Mhm.
of it, you went back and tried again. Is that
I
correct?
did. As I mentioned, that was the second year I had tried to run this race. The next year was COVID. I was great shape, great condition. Like 2 weeks before they canceled it. It was so
Mm.
heartbreaking. I was so upset. So, of course, I had to sign up again. So,
Right,
4 years
of
in a row,
course.
I've signed up for this race and have yet to finish it. So I did sign up again and I finally finished the race.
And what year was that? Was that in 21?
21, yes.
Okay.
It was a lot of fun that year. It is one of the years that it did snow. And how I mentioned that it had 20,000 feet of elevation gain, there are no switchbacks in this course at all. So it was incredibly slippery. There were some hills that like you could not run down. You literally sit on your butt and slide. Like there was no way to get down. It was like an amusement park. It was a lot of fun. I only came with one pacer who was supposed to do quite a bit with me, but she injured herself and could only do a loop. So I just put kind of something out on Facebook. I was like, hey, I'm coming. I don't really have pacers. I ended up with 3 additional pacers that were amazing. And from 50 miles on, I had someone with me in that race.
Oh.
Was there ever a doubt, or was it just like there's nothing keeping me from the finish?
Oh, there is no doubt I was finishing that race. I think, like,
I
once again, around the 30-mile mark, I started feeling kind of crappy. And once again, it was that chicken broth and the mashed potatoes that kept me going. And so glad I kept going. I felt pretty good. I mean, that race is hard as hell. And it gets so cold there too that it also just gets hard to breathe. But at that point, I was like, there's no way I'm not finishing this.
I also feel like having pacers lined up further down also
Yes.
helps you because you're like, I got to get to my pacer because I don't want to let
Right.
them down. They came out here for me, so I just need to get to the next pacer and then get through with them and then get to the next pacer. And that
Yeah,
kind of
exactly. And
helps
I
you.
knew like one of them too, she was pacing someone else as well. So I was like, I have to be there even quick enough to make sure she can pace her next person. So it definitely gave me some motivation there. And of course, having people you've never met before, like, yeah, you can tell me anything. I don't even know, like, if it's true or not. Like, tell me stories. I hear all sorts of new things, learn about these people's life stories and the 12 miles I run with them. It was really cool. It was a lot of fun.
That's so
And
lucky that you found people willing to pace you that you didn't know. Like when I was trying to run my first 100 miler, I was trying to do that one down in Florida and it required pacers and I didn't know
Oh,
anybody that ran ultras and like I, was on like all the Florida ultra runner websites and Facebook pages and like, please somebody pace me and I couldn't find
oh,
anybody.
That's a
Yeah.
bummer.
But it's okay because that's how I met Lisa and Justin. So
we just paced
Awesome.
together and ran 100 miles together.
yeah.
when you finished that, was it like, I'm never doing this race again, thank God it's done? Or were you like, should I do it again next year?
I'd go back.
Yeah.
I haven't signed up for it again, but I would definitely go back. I mean, it is really, really tough, but I don't know. I I really liked it. The people who work that race, they're great. I don't it's small. I loved it. I would definitely go back.
And did you notice the shift? Because I started running a little bit before COVID. And then after COVID, there were so many more people at the start lines. It's like people were cooped up and people like found trail running through COVID. Did you kind of see that
I
that second
had
year
seen
back
that.
or
I
third?
definitely feel like I saw a boom.
But with that comes people that have no idea what they're doing.
Yes.
Yes.
Noobs.
Do you go back now that you've done 100 milers? Do you still go back and do 50 milers and 100Ks?
Yeah, definitely.
Whenever you're signing up for a race, what draws you to it now? Is it vibes, the buckle, or the course, or what's the deciding factor?
I have a bucket list races. And then I have my favorites, of course, that are around here, like Shawnee Hills, for instance. There's another one not far that's called Farmdale, which was my first 50 mile that I like to go back to. And I've done that a couple times as well. There's also a group in Kansas City, Trail Nerds. I've done quite a few of their races because it's close to my parents, so I can visit them at the same time. So it's really just kind of what's there when I'm there, not necessarily I'm chasing certain buckles or certain hundreds most of the times.
Yeah. And that's always interesting to me to find what draws people because my goal is 100 miler. So if it's a
Mhm.
100 miler and it's affordable, like I don't care what it is, I'm there. Or if it's in driving range, but then that's makes it easy for me to decide for a race. So it's always interesting to hear what really draws people to the races. And a lot of time it is like, can I turn it into a trip to visit my family or
Yeah.
running club that I like? Because I know earlier, but before we jumped on, Lisa was talking about I love Yeti races, and so there's
Oh,
race
I've
companies that
heard
just
they
use
have
that
great
aura.
races.
Yeah, so you haven't done a
Yeah.
Yeti yet.
No,
Have you done have you done Bad Dog?
I have not.
Have you heard of that?
I have
Okay, so
heard of it.
that's in Missouri. Okay, so there we go. Maybe I'll have to drag you after that one. I'll probably
Yeah.
go back this year. That's a 100 miler. What it is the race director. She puts on like run clubs for schools, but these kids come and they can't afford running shoes. So she puts on this race to where she can make money to get running shoes for kids. And
Oh,
it's
that's
I
awesome.
think
It's
yeah, I
nice.
think the charity's called
That's
One
so
Sole
cool.
Purpose. Yeah. So I went up there last year and did the 100 miler, of course, DNF'd because that's what I do. Learned some things in that. Not to steal your DNF show, but I think some fun things to learn from that is that it was really hot and I love heat, but I never had an ice bandana before. And I got one and I put it on my back. And I
Yes.
learned that if you have ice bandana on your back, it leads to chafing on your backside.
Ooh,
Yes.
yeah.
Now, water needs to go somewhere.
So I also like the hot races, and I haven't done the ice bandanas quite as much because I am also a female and I wear sports bras. So we do boob ice. So fill it up and then just go run.
It's always magical. The boob
It
ice
is.
is always magical. Justin,
There's
just start
always
wearing a sports bra and just shoving it, shoving ice in there, and it's great. Love it. I promise.
lessons learned. I'm writing it down. Boob ice. What hot races interest you?
Yeah. So one of the first ones and where I learned about the boob ice is one called Psycho Summer, which is also in the Kansas City area. I mean, it's called Psycho Summer. I don't think I've run it when it's been below 100 degrees. So they do a pretty good job stocking everything with ice. Like they bring in like literally tons of ice, tons. And then there's some of the aid stations. I remember coming into one of them. It was the first time coming in that aid station, and they had this huge unicorn. And the unicorn had a sprinkler coming out of its horn. So they even had sprinklers at the aid stations. It was pretty nice.
To put that on the list, we have one out here called Habanero 100 that is in August,
Yep.
and kind of same thing is never below 100 and starts at noon to make it more miserable. I'm gonna text the race director and tell him a unicorn sprinkler is what we
Sprinkler.
need.
I've
That would be
thought about
fun.
that one. I heard recently when I was at a race actually in January that it's on like part of it's sand. Is that true?
Yes, there's a lot of because it's at a horse and cattle
Yes.
ranch. So a lot of the trails have like that really soft, fine beach sand.
Ooh,
It's exaggerated. I feel like people are like, it's 75% of the course. I think it's maybe a fifth. The loops are only 10K too. So you
okay.
have like good patches of sand. Believe it or not, there is a little bit of shade out there from the trees, but yeah, there is some sand out there. So you kind of have to I kind of pretend like I'm snowshoeing and I just like flat foot through the sand so I don't like get sand flipped up everywhere and ruin my calves and my quads, and that seems to work for me. But when I see people like run through those, I'm like, y'all are crazy, but it's a fun race. You should come do it. Let me know.
Yeah, I might.
Lisa's doing it this year, right, Lisa?
I am. They added a 135 that starts
Ooh,
Friday, so
are
I'm
you doing the
gonna do that one.
135?
Mhm.
That's so
Yeah.
exciting.
But it is
I've not been
exciting.
above
We'll
100 miles, unless you count the like extra mile that's at like the end of the 100.
if you have some bonus miles at the end of a 100 miler, does it really count?
Right.
Ugh.
And since we're talking about heat races, do you guys have? Since I learned about boo bites, I got to ask all the other chafing stuff now. What do you guys use? Squirrel's nut butter or like salty britches? What's your go-to?
Body glide. Because it's
Body
just,
glide.
I mean, I've been running for a long time, and I think that was like the first thing that was actually out for chafing, and I've just stuck with it ever since.
I use like a combo, depending on part, but let's see, I have Trail Toes I use a lot, and he hasn't put it on his website yet, but Vince, who's the owner of Trail Toes, made a like zinc based cream that is kind of like a diaper rash thing that I would put on my feet sometimes, or if I'm already chafed, put it on there. I love salty britches, and I have some friends that own Wild Scents, and they have a really good chafing balm as well. So I use all of those, and then a trick with ice bandanas, put your ice in Ziploc bags and then in the ice bandana. So when it melts, it doesn't drip all the way down you. So that's a trick that I've learned. And even with the boob ice, like I will get a big Ziploc bag and fill it with ice and then put it in my sports bra. It looks like I have a huge uniboob, but it works.
Sure. And then going back to Hitchcock with the water bottles freezing,
Yes.
I also DNF'd the 100 miler because my water bottles kept freezing and I was a sad panda. And I was just like, I can't even drink water. How can I
Yeah.
run 40 more miles? All in my feelings. What have you learned from that? Is there any like insulated water bottles or what's your go-to for that?
So I have an insulated bladder that I have used before, and then I just put the hose like up through my jacket. I usually don't prefer the bladders though. So a lot of times, honestly, I literally just stick my bottles in my pants. There was one race that I ran in January. It started probably about 12 degrees, but got up into like the and I actually took gloves and just put them on my bottles, and that worked. And I just had to take the glove off when I wanted to drink. So it was a little bit of extra work, but it ended up working pretty well.
So something I've heard too, are you wearing like a hydration pack with your bottles in
Yes.
it? So instead of wearing that like as your last layer, like putting your jacket
Jacket over
over,
it.
did that help at all? Or did they still freeze if you put your jacket on over?
I have tried that and it is not comfortable for me. So I don't even
Okay.
bother trying.
Yeah, because I would hate you have to kind of like unzip and like dig around
Right.
and try to find your stuff through your
Exactly.
jacket.
What if you put a little bit of salt in it? Wouldn't that change the freezing point of the water?
So, yes, that does help. Usually, if I know things are going to freeze pretty easily, I try and put something else in it, like not just straight water. The biggest problem is not the bottle itself freezing, but the actual spot where you drink out of. So, I have found too that
Oh.
if you, after you're done drinking, if you blow in it to make sure all of that gets out, that helps as well.
Or you could just fill it up like half with vodka, alcohol that's free.
I would
It'll help you
die.
stay warm from the inside out. No, I would be found on the side of the trail, like not.
Right, exactly. I see those people take like shots and whatnot on aid stations. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way I can do that.
Sometimes it's a nice liquid painkiller and helps you forget what you're doing.
I'll wait till the end.
Anything else we need to cover before we dive into lessons learned?
I do have one
Okay.
regret about my finish, and I'm going to talk about it in case anyone ever does Hitchcock 100. So the race director at the end, he always asks people when they finish, do you want me to put you a buckle at the top of this tower? And it's like, I don't even know how many stairs. It's like circle around. And I always told myself, I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go get my buckle from the top. And at the finish, he's like, do you want to go run up the stairs? And I was just like, no, absolutely not. And like looking back on it, I was like, why didn't I do it? Like, it wouldn't have been that much more. But I was just dead at that point. So if you guys ever do Hitchcock, run up the stairs for me to get your buckle.
Well, that means you just have to go back one more
I
time so
know,
you can do it.
gosh, I know. I do, don't I?
I think the race director should say, "Congratulations, you finished the race. Now go get your buckle." Because if
Yeah,
you just
don't
did
even give the
20,000,
option.
Give
Just
people
say
the
it's
choice.
there. It's up there.
you just
You want
did
it.
20,000 feet of vert, and you were looking forward to that finish line for like 3 or 4 years, and you finished that thing, you're probably like, "Give me that thing. I'm going
Right.
home."
And like the last 400 meters is like up. It's not the greatest going into the finish line.
Just means it's a well-designed course. So, all right, there's a lot of good nuggets in this one. I've filled my sheet up here. So we are gonna dive into lessons learned. Do I have any volunteers to go first?
I'll go first.
Go for it, Nicole.
Don't run races in the winter.
December in Iowa. There's people in Iowa that don't even run outside in December.
Don't even
Right.
leave their house.
Lisa, do you have any lessons learned?
Well, I took some lessons on how to. I probably will eventually get to a race that's going to be freezing. I did do a race last year that was 18 degrees at the start here in Texas. It does get cold here, and putting like water bottles and like in gloves with hot hands around them. Like I'm terrified of my water freezing as well. So definitely just do whatever you can to not let your water freeze, even if you have to put some vodka in there.
You saw like my friend Will. His answer to everything is, "Oh, just add alcohol and it'll warm you right up."
It will.
All
It'll
right,
be
so I
yeah.
learned that I need to get a sports bra for my boob ice. And then when I get the sports bra, I need to do a Ziploc bag so I don't get the chafing. I also have don't sign up for races in December in Iowa. That is, if you didn't hear that from Nicole, you heard it from me. You're not going to hear that from Megan because she might go back. And then
I'll go get you,
finally,
Yeah.
Megan. We'll do it.
yeah, whatever. You ladies have your fun. If your name is Fireball, you must name your son Inferno.
I love it.
All right, Megan, even though you provided most of the lessons, do you have any lessons learned?
Man, I will say, as far as the DNF goes, especially this race, it's just so hard for me to finally finish it. Like for people who are actually coming out in DNF race, like don't let it get to you. I mean, just go back and try again. I mean, like there's elite athletes that like do not finish races. So I know a lot of people get super down on themselves and like, I mean, I definitely did too, but just do it again. Keep trying.
Keep showing up.
Yeah, keep showing
I love
up.
that.
And if you keep failing, just reach out to Lisa because she'll do any race as long as you bring her along and you do it side by side and you guys can suffer together.
I'm a yes girl. Like you have an idea and it fits in my schedule. I'm like, yes, let's go. Like I'll do
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. If you want to invite me to a race in December, it needs to be like a week before to where I don't have any time to think about it and it's more impromptu. Because if it's now, I'm like, no, I'm good. I have plans.
Sounds like
All
a
right.
plan.
So that will wrap it up for this episode of Fails on the Trails. Thank you, Megan, for joining us. And until next time, learn the lessons, keep running, and don't DNF.
Thanks for
Or do.
having me.
Trails on the trail.